Okay. What is Wanderlust?
Well, what is Wanderlust? Well, essentially it's a combination of yoga and music and nature and feeling good. But we do have a core purpose, and it's taken us a while to kind of distill that and figure out what it is. But really, what we're really trying to do is create community, and we're trying to do that around shared values. And we have events across the country very similar to this one, which basically bring people together around some central ideas, and hopefully create a platform for mindful living. And whether that is yoga or the arts or conscious consumerism or fair fashion or environmentalism or organic foods, these are the core principles, and they seem to be part of a growing cultural trend in this country. So ostensibly what we're doing is we're bringing people together around those core principles, to have fun and enjoy themselves, but also to hopefully find a way to live a better and healthier life.
How do music and yoga complement one another? I know you have a music industry background. Are you a yogi also?
I am. My wife has kind of helped me design a very personal yoga, asana practice for me, which I'm grateful. I come from music. I was a musician growing up. I come from a very musical family, and there's obviously an alignment between rhythm and breath and yoga and music. I mean, it's clear, and I think if you can find those moments where your breath is in line with the rhythm of music and you're flowing in a yoga practice, that can be kind of some of the most sublime and transcendent moments, really, where you're losing kind of your sense of kind of body and time, and you're just floating out there. And a lot of people experience that kind of in sports, where you're kind of in the zone. I think with the combination of yoga and music, maybe you're in that flow, and I think that's how they complement each other.
What's your vision for Wanderlust in terms of, where do you see it 5 years from now?
I have a vision for, I guess, Wanderlust in the context of the world, which is, and this has been part of that exercise of defining our purpose and our mission, and then what is our vision. And so if our purpose is, creating community, and, our mission is currently, doing that around creating a platform through large events around mindful living, then our vision, I guess, is a more conscious world. And if we can play a small role in creating that, then that's a good life. So that's where my vision is. Whether that means having more events, or having an apparel brand, or having some other part of the Wanderlust brand or experience, I don't really know. I think we're just doing what feels right now, and trying to kind of stick to that core purpose.
How did you choose your partners? Were you very selective in who you wanted with you?
Well, my initial partners were my best friend and business partner and my wife, so I didn't have to look far for those. My wife is a yogi and a studio owner and a yoga teacher for a long time. So, the inspiration really comes from her and from the community that she introduced me to. And my business partner is an incredibly smart, capable thinker, lawyer, person that is able to sort of synthesize ideas and kind of execute them and make them happen. So in a way, I was very lucky to be sort of at the vortex or at the kind of focal point of those two influences. One that was kind of visionary and one that was very execution oriented. And then, I have other partners that help to pay for it. and those are great partners, and they, fortunately are very lenient with my vision for the experience and the brand, and they have a tremendous amount of experience in festivals, so that's been a really great thing for us, and then along the way we've been lucky to partner with brands that believe in what we're doing and that also see that share sort of a common vision around wellness and around health. And we've been fortunate enough to do these 7 events this summer that were created with Smart Water that are these free community-oriented yoga classes in public parks. And we're doing them in 7 big cities across the United States. And those efforts are really largely underwritten and created creatively with Smart Water. So it's I think great to be aligning with people that share our mission and our goals. And I also see a lot of people realizing that they're that these things, yoga and organic food and all this kind of stuff that used to be considered very marginal and very kind of lefty and very hippie or something, are now really mainstream parts of our society. And I think the more that we can usher those things into the mainstream, a lot of other good things are going to come along with it. The least of which is healthy, a more healthy population. But all the things that come with that, as we look at our healthcare system, as we look at our environment, all these kind of things that are attached to it. So, we've been lucky to be working with a lot of great people along on our mission.
In terms of partnerships, I saw the YouTube video that's online where you were talking about working with local farmers, for example, and bringing them into what Wanderlust is about. Do you want to touch on that at all? Vermont seems like a great place to experiment with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, part of the goal in going into a lot of these places, we're based in New York, so we go into Vermont, and it's a place where I spent a lot of time growing up, and my mom has a house very close by to where the festival is, and my kids go up there. But I'm a New Yorker, so we're coming into a place and we're bringing in a pretty large experience and a large footprint. And I think, we want to reach out into that local community and involve them in the event to every degree we possibly can. And, I think so when I looked around at, what was available to us in Vermont, there's such an incredible culture for local food, for craft culture in general, cheeses and maple syrups and all these kind of things that build that whole part of the mystique of Vermont. So we were fortunate enough to kind of hook up with a local group called the West River Farmers Market, and they're bringing a bunch of their farmers on site to have a farmers market over the weekend there in Vermont, featuring all sorts of locally grown and produced foods. So, it's just, it's not any kind of huge revelation. It's very much part of the community that we're working in. And I think it adds to the event, and it also contributes to the local economy and the local culture. So, yeah.
And will that be part of the other festivals? I imagine California is a great one for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. California is more mountainous, so there's less farmers really right there. But there are a lot of farmers in the foothills, and there are very consistent farmers markets in that part of the world, in Tahoe City and in Donner and Truckee. And so we're being able to kind of tap into a lot of those folks that'll come up from the foothills. And there's a fairly significant farmers market experience in Lake Tahoe as well. And yeah, I mean, if, any place as we build more events that has that community, it makes sense to involve them any way we can.
What's your favorite yoga pose?
My favorite yoga pose? I have to, for my own well-being, sit in Virasana every night. And sometimes it's in front of the computer or even in front of the television, but that's just a caveat there. But I have to do it, otherwise I don't function well. Even if I don't practice yoga on a particular day, I always have to do that. Because I think someone told me that women hold their tension in their chest and in their shoulders, and men hold their tensions in their hips. And of course, that's a generalization, but in my case, it happens to be true. So, Virasana is something that helps me be able to wake up and get out of bed and walk normally.
Did you ask them to? Sorry. No worries. Just our audio is worried. And now I've lost my train of thought. Anything else that you want to add about the festival, about your goals for it, about how you chose the locations that you did? Anything that you've learned that may have surprised you putting this together?
Well, there's a lot there, but I guess I'll just say that we're really trying to be as participatory as an event as possible. And there's a lot of festivals and events where people, are pretty much relegated to staring at a stage or sitting in a seat and listening. And those are great events, but I think, one of the things that makes us unique is that attendees actually are participants, and they're part of the fabric of the event. And obviously they're doing yoga, so they're moving their bodies, and that's kind of the basic thing that, obviously is participatory. But there's so much more that we're doing now with hiking and with theatrical performances, even burlesque workshops and performances, with aerial performances and workshops where people can actually come and take classes or workshops and then actually become part of the performance at night. And it's part of pushing people and pushing people's boundaries and what they can sort of expect from themselves. And I think that's how we can really create a potentially kind of transformative experience where people find something new about themselves, after 4 days or after one day, that they didn't know that they had, or that they could do. And that they've pushed through some sort of fear or some sort of blockage or some sort of something, and they've gone home actually feeling better than when they came. And that's a lofty goal. I don't expect it to be a completely transformative experience for everyone, although I know it is for some people. But if people can in some way go back to their lives enhanced, to bring part of what is kind of very hypo-reality of Wanderlust into their kind of more regular reality of home life, then I think, then we've accomplished something. So I hope we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.